Stop judging me. Talking to the cat. Hi, it's John, scotchandsci-fi.co.uk or scotchandsci-fi.com. You can follow me on Twitter at DVDBloke, follow me on Facebook and all that other social media stuff. What am I here today? Well, Whisky review time, Game of Thrones stuff. Game of Thrones limited edition bottlings have come out. I'm going to open a set and have a play with them and drink them probably and talk about them a little bit. So I'm going to do it in 4 videos. 4 videos. 2 in each video. I'll split them up accordingly to interesting ones versus not so interesting ones, and on an opinion, if I'm being an opinionated whiskey drinker and all that kind of thing. I'm going to try to bear in mind there are markets out there that aren't just opinionated whiskey drinkers and people who actually want to try whiskey for the first time and stuff like that. And this is a marketing exercise which is really good at that. You know, you're crossing over the void of whiskey drinkers and Game of Thrones fans, and you know they're not mutually exclusive. Well, they are they? They're not. You know, it's a good opportunity to sort of like try to market to people who maybe not have drank whiskey before and who happen to be in Game of Thrones and go, oh, I'd like a Tyrion bottle, you know, and stuff like that. So we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, it seems to have been a massive success, even though if you're a Game of Thrones fan and not really into the whiskey scene, I'm not sure how much marketing you would have seen on it all, because I've only really seen marketing around the whiskey fraternity, if you like, but maybe I just don't look at general kind of advertising and stuff. I don't know. It just doesn't hit me except through the sort of like the whiskey world, if you like. And certainly all the online retailers, with the exception of Amazon, which must have the biggest allocation in the world, have sold out. So somebody must have been buying it, and I'd wager the betting that it's generally whiskey fans in the UK that are buying it. In the States, obviously, it's a bit more spread and probably advertised differently. Anyway, talking rubbish now, already 2 minutes in, I haven't done anything. Right, okay, so what we're going to do in this one is we're going to have a taste of the Singleton of Glendullan, which is the House Tully version. I'm doing that like I don't know. I do know, but I am a Game of Thrones fan, but I'm not going to rag on about it. Family duty honour. So House Tully have got the Singleton of Glendullan for some reason. It's Singleton of Glendullan Select, which isn't an expression that's normally available. Out of the, I'm not going to go through all of it. We'll do it as we go along. Limited edition, all that kind of stuff. Here is the tube. It's a rather fishy affair. If you can hear stuff in the background that's cardboard being teared up, that's the cat being obnoxious. It should have been a Speyburn. No, Diageo don't have Speyburn, so it can't be, but it could have been. And the second one I'm going to do today is the Night's Watch one, which is basically the Oban Bay Reserve. Again, it's another new expression specifically for these releases. Yeah, so without further ado, we'll have a little bottle as well. That's a bottle of the Glendullan, Singleton of Glendullan. Again, these are nice, simplistic kind of labels, you know, well designed, well bottled. All the whiskies are the same colour. Not saying, you know, anything other than they've obviously got a little bit of colour in them and all the rest of it. Majority of them are going to be non-chill, are going to be chill filtered, because they're 40 or 43%. There's a couple exceptions there, I think. Anyway, let's have a wee sniff and what's it of the Singleton of Glendullan. Honey. Honey, honey, honey. There's a lot of honey. There's ginger spice, a bit of cinnamon, a little bit of soft citrus fruits. It's perfectly smellable. It's not particularly complex. It's just one of those pleasant, I don't want to say generic, but as a more experienced whiskey drinker than some, you know, it is kind of generic, to be honest. But there's lots of honey. It's got a nice, you know, perfectly sniffable aroma. It's not something that you're going to spend your life with your nose in. You're just going to go, it's nice, it's all right. As a new whiskey drinker coming along, however, they might go, "Ooh, that's really interesting." Oh, that's, you know, because if it's new to somebody, because the first time I drank bloody Jura, as an example, Jura 10-year-old was the thing that got me into whiskey. But nowadays it wouldn't. But that's because palates evolve, experience widens, and you just become somebody who just doesn't get so interested with the simple stuff anymore. You know, it's just comes with experience and comes with broadening of the experience, the broadening of the knowledge of the subject. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to go with much more than that. Maybe a touch of orange in there, just it's pleasant, yeah, palate. Light on the mouthfeel. It's got that, you know, somebody. Again, it comes down to if you give whiskey to somebody who doesn't drink whiskey, they taste that and they go, "Ooh, that's hot." But 7 years of whiskey drinking, you end up, your palate gets a little bit permanently anaesthetised by higher strength whiskey. So with a 40%, it's kind of like, yeah, it's a bit light. But it's not really. It's got plenty of flavour. It's got. It comes down to the honey, the smoothness, the easygoing, the There's lots of honey. There's a gentle bit of citrus. There's a fair bit of gingery spice, cinnamon, warming here in the finish. It's not going to set the world alight, but if you want to drink, as a whiskey drinker, if you just want to drink and don't really, you know, want to think about it, perfectly fine. If you're a new whiskey drinker, this would be a great whiskey to start with. So, you know, this would be a good whiskey to start a whiskey journey with. So, yeah. It is what it is. Retail on that one is, I think it's about £38. So comparing it to the, you know, the kind of whiskies you can get in the supermarket, Singleton of, oh Jesus, what's the supermarket one? Singleton of Glendullan. That kind of thing. You know, that would give a similar kind of result. It would be a little bit cheaper, but it wouldn't be a Game of Thrones. So, you know, I'm almost taking each one of these as far as the price tag is concerned. You are paying probably an extra 10 to 15 quid for the marketing tie-in. And, you know, if you're a fan of cult TV and you want, you know, the fancy tubes, the fancy labels and all that kind of stuff, and you want the collection to line up in a, you know, on display somewhere at some point, that's what you're paying for. And, you know, we pay for that. We geeks pay for that. It's as simple as that. And it works, because I bought them. I'm drinking them. So anyway, yeah, that one's done. I mean, perfectly good as a newbie whiskey, starting whiskey for somebody. Even perfectly good if you're starting a tasting and you just want something to wet your whistle, start your palate up. Perfectly good if you just want to have a drink and not really think about it. That's as far as you can go with that one. Oh, better try the other actually. Right, have some water, John. And now the Oban, which comes in a lovely black bottle. However, it's not a black bottle. This was probably the biggest criticism I'd have of this this particular bottle. You see it in the pictures and everything, and you know, you've seen lots of black bottles being released before, your Optimals and the rest of it, and you think, oh, it's a lovely black glass bottle. It's not. It's a regular bottle, and it's got a black plastic seal cover. Yeah, and it's kind of cute because it's got this like embossing on there as well, a bit Lord of the Ringsy, even though it's not that crossing over genres. But anyway, you know, and it's perfectly nice to look at and everything else, but it's not a black glass bottle. Anyway, Oban Bay Reserve, yes, it's another one which is especially for this kind of this limited release. It's not a regular bottling. It's 43%, and it smells like this. Different, much different. There's a lot more depth to it. There is still quite a bit of youth, I would say. A touch of spiritiness. But there's a lot of orange citrus fruits. A lot of gentle spices. There's a bit more of a balance there, where the Glendullan was felt, levelled, if you like. This has kind of got a little bit more punch to it. It's a little bit more expressive. It still feels quite closed. But it's definitely got more fruit. It's definitely got, you know, a little bit more punch to it. Gentler in the spices. Something I would spend a little bit more time sniffing over, you know. It's actually... This one retails at £65, and I'd say it's obviously a step up. Palette. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. It's got a lot more going on. Some interesting stuff. There's a little bit of saltiness towards the end of the palate, going into the finish kind of thing, towards the end of the development. Actually, I forgot me terms now. I've totally forgotten me terms. Development, finish. Anyway, moron. Okay, so starts off sweet, touch of dry, orange peel, clovey orange peel, those cloved oranges, ginger, well developed kind of gingery cinnamon note, really fruity, a little bit juicy. Then you get a touch of briny kind of saltiness coming through into the finish, which is a little bit more drying, still retains the spice of fruit. That's nice balance. It's all right. Having tasted it now, the nose is sort of, you're kind of picking up more of the things on the nose that you picked up from the palate. So there's that kind of like saltiness in the air, if you like, a little bit of salty sea air. Not too hefty, but it's there. It's there now in the background. Put a drop of water. Probably too much. 13 minutes talking rubbish as usual. Bit of water softens down the spice and the fruit. I'm actually getting more of that kind of salty, maritimey kind of thing. Actually, it's very nice with or without water. I didn't put water in the other one because I really don't think it would have benefited it, but it might do. I can experiment with that another time. I'm really actually trying these only for the second time on video because I'm just being lazy. I'm just getting on with it. You know, I'd say time is money, but it isn't. It's just time is precious. Okay, water's killed the palate a bit. I think I put a little bit too much water in all honesty. So I'm going to say either go very, very lightly with the water. Don't do like I did and go just drop. Otherwise, I think that's quite nice. I think it's all right actually. A little bit more challenging than the Glendullan. Not immensely challenging. It's not one of those as a experienced whiskey drinker is going to spend a million years there, you know, analysing the living hell out of it. It's definitely got more depth than the Glendullan, and more enjoyable. £65, so that's like 20 odd quid more. Is it 20 odd quid more? Yeah, probably. Again, if you're taking into account the 10-15 quid licensing fee, what we're really probably getting is a 50 to 55 pound bottle of whiskey. This is my making it up, the 10-15 pound thing. I just think that's the way life is, you know. It's good. Yeah, I like it. Alright, happy for that. So in closing, Glendullan, perfectly good for a beginner, perfectly good for a starter whiskey before a tasting session. Oban, yeah, not bad at all. Light with the water, don't splash it. Definitely a more characterful kind of experience to try. That's that for now. That was one out of the way. 3 more to go. The next one will be Royal Lochnagar and Clynelish. Okay, see you along later for that. Bye for now.